nsfw, why are you afraid to have sex? My husband is on chemo and his body fluids are poisonous. Till, afraid of being bad at it? Everyone's bad at it at some point though. Doesn't help much with the fear by saying, hey, I'll probably only make a few mistakes and only lie awake at night reliving the awkwardness and wanting to die for a little while. Lol. Intimacy scares me. I've never been comfortable enough with a person. The way people can just hook up without being in a relationship is scary to me. So your problem is you're not in a relationship. Try building trust with somebody first. I second this. Actively finding someone that is comfortable to hang out with you and just talk in. Build trust is a really good segue into something more intimate for us folks who do not vibe with hookup culture. My body is awful. I'm a 20-year-old with saggy, stretch marks from scars between my legs from being previously overweight and getting those awful sores from chafing. Ugly. Just gross everything. I just don't want to lose someone I care about because they realize I'm hideous without clothes on. Edit. There are a lot of kind comments here and I can't possibly respond to them all. I just want to say thanks for trying to help me feel better about myself. There's other things going on that I posted about here before that are making it difficult to feel any kind of happiness, but the fact that you took the time out of your day to try and help me means the universe to me. God bless each and every one of you. And LT3. I'm 28 and have had saggy and stretch marks and chafing since I was a teenager. You'd be surprised how little that matters to someone once you have a connection, or just raw chemistry. But learning to love yourself, even just a little, is necessary to be able to let those connections bloom. You don't have to think you're perfect, but know that you're not gross either. That level of self-hate will only beat you down. Why are you afraid of terrible social skills and crippling anxiety? I don't have any friends outside of gaming and I don't really want this to change for a few personal reasons. I'm pretty sure I'm going to die alone anyway, so who cares? I feel called out by this. When I was a senior in high school, I started dating a sophomore. It was my first girlfriend and we became each other's best friends. Sadly, my dad was completely against it because technically she was a minor and I was an adult. So when I went to college one state over, I would go see her every other month on the down low. Her parents were strict Asian parents and didn't know that I existed, but I found time to hang out with her alone in her place for about 3 or 4 hours when I visited. She was super scared of getting pregnant, so she only wanted to do oral, which was fine, but she was so nervous that she only wanted to give and not receive. Fast forward towards the end of our relationship, she tells me that she wants to go all the way and takes out a condom. I was excited, our first time. So, I get halfway in when all of a sudden I hear footsteps outside of the door. My life flashes before my eyes and I pull out and run naked and hide in her closet. It ended up being her parents' friend who had been staying over. He eventually left, and when my ex asked if I wanted to try again, I said no. I had never been more scared in my life. I thought I was going to go to jail and ruin everything. When we broke up, she told me that she felt very uncomfortable doing any ritual that we did. So coupled with almost being caught in that statement, I have zero confidence. I dated a girl a year ago who got really comfortable with me and would say things like "let's" right here while we were chilling at her place. And when I couldn't move and just stare at the wall, she got really worried and I had to tell her this story. I still haven't had since. I'm really sorry that happened to you. I really hope you get help with that. Your mom would crush me. Nice. Pretty sure my doesn't work, so I don't bother even trying, huh? Trauma comes back at inconvenient times and is an obvious trigger. Sometimes it's fun and sometimes it starts an existential dread-style anxiety attack. Those odds scare me sometimes, lol. It's surprising though, how many partners are okay with what we see as a really humiliating experience. There's a ton of people who have been there themselves, or care and know enough about you already to be here with you for this too. Because when I was young, a cousin of mine wanted to play a game. That game wasn't a game at all and I've had to deal with the repercussions ever since. He had a early childhood trauma. Peace. I like to laugh about my situation. While it's not funny, the ability to laugh about it was what got me through. Me too. 14 years later, a year of therapy and PTSD still kicks my daily, although those get somewhat better. Stay strong. I grew up in a very Catholic household where I was taught to save for marriage. One angle of this is I know the failure rates of most forms of birth control, and coupling that with my anxiety means I am not taking any chances. As a person who can get pregnant, I definitely don't want it before I'm ready. I currently have a boyfriend and have gotten the opportunity for countless times. While I definitely want to, I am way too scared. Thankfully, my boyfriend respects my choices. Just remember, there are many ways to be sexual. Have that don't involve a risk of pregnancy. You might also want to look into tocophobia. I'm starting to get chubby. I used to be afraid of having because I hated my body. I'm 300 pounds and had never even been on a date with a guy before. Eventually I downloaded Tinder and I found out a lot of guys don't care what I look like, and I had a lot of fun. Be confident in yourself and just relax and never forget to use a condom. Everyone has fears of the unknown, how they'll perform, be let down, and embarrass themselves. The important thing is to find someone you're comfortable with on so many levels already and let things go from there. I was told once to marry my best friend, whoever she is, and it's by looking at things in that light things have been better than ever. Look for sustainability in relationships, enough mutual interest where you'll be able to enjoy each other's hobbies, but enough differences to where you won't be stuck up each other's all the time. My partner and I have only been together for 6 months, but we've known each other for years, and the depth we share is amazing and lets us push the boundaries of what we do so much further. Also, if you're looking to raise a family of 5 kids in the next 9 years, that's probably something you should be comfortable talking with your partner about pretty early on. Know that it might scare off a few guys, but they were probably just looking something much more lustful than you in the first place. There are a lot of other ways to fulfill the desires of wanting a family that big. Plus, you're going to spend 7 to 8 years without being able to have a job raising all those youngins. My mother wanted 13 kids but stopped after 3 for health reasons. But she was a pack leader in Boy Scouts as well as a troop leader in Girl Scouts for myself, my sister, and both units for 5 years after we aged out. Good luck and good hunting for the future, because there's been several reported cases of coronavirus in Pound Town. I hit dating age at the dawn of AIDS when looking at a sick person could apparently give you HIV. That combined with my teen awkwardness meant no for me. Okay, it was probably more the latter than the former, but the fear was a genuine component of the problem. Flash forward a few decades, and I'm married with children. There's no fear when you have a partner you trust and expect to be with for the long haul. That doesn't mean marriage, but it does mean you don't think they're going for a hit and run, and you believe they're honest about their sexual health. That you're both aware of the risks and being responsible about minimizing them, and that you're both on the same page of how to handle something like an unwanted pregnancy together. Find that person and have some fun, even if the relationship isn't for a lifetime. You only live once, and staying safe in a bubble isn't living. You have to take some risks to enjoy life. I think some people need to realize our popular culture and internet memes making casual sexual behavior seem way more common than it really is. Nothing against the sexually liberated, but it's a lot more rare to be that comfortable than it would seem when you're reading through Reddit comments or watching Hollywood movies. The juicy movies get the views, and then the juicy comments get the upvotes. It filters to the front, but it's not that common. Sadly, people are being imprinted with the idea that something must be wrong with you if you're not comfortable with the idea of casual, or feel uneasy about it in general. It's actually kind of toxic. People should be allowed to be as promiscuous as they want, but it's perfectly healthy and normal to be reserved about it. Most people do not, in fact, have casual that often. Many don't do it at all. Those porn stars may have been going through a dry spell in their real lives, and those symbol rock stars or actors may have had a failing marriage and a dead bedroom for years. Don't feel like you're a freak just because you're apprehensive about because you're not. It's normal to be an amp. #X200B. To actually answer the question, I had a, let's call it, chain of circumstances and events in my life that have more or less conditioned me to socially self-isolate. It is rare for me to meet people that I like, rarer to feel comfortable around them, and then even rarer to feel physically attracted. It virtually never happens. It is what it is. I'm not complaining. I'm tired of initiating every time. It is now the time that my cousin should cooperate. It's his turn to drug you. I was molested as a child and then raped as a teen. I just can't trust anyone enough to be physically intimate. The notion scares me. Gosh, I'm really sorry that happens to you. I hope you've found healthy and effective ways to cope with it. My looks like a sweet potato. I guess it just isn't fulfilling. I just don't find myself sexually attracted to people anymore. I don't even like to. It's been almost 2 years since my last partner and I just have no desire to begin a sexual relationship again. STDs. Sometimes in the heat of the moment protection might not seem very appealing. It can turn a relationship into revolving around it. I'd rather have my emotional connection than base our foundation on, it's best when they're intertwined to the point you can't easily tell them apart. This should boost your emotional connection, and the emotional connection should boost your interest in emotionally abusive ex, and bad experiences with newer ex really made me have no desire for it. Maybe someday. Don't want to be a dad at it. Don't want to be a dad yet. I don't want the gerbils to escape. I have several questions. I'm in therapy these days for my childhood trauma. My grandfather used to routinely sexually abuse me with my sister until my mom cut off contact with him at age 8. Then, a woman that rented a room in our basement took over and I was sexual with her for the next 4 years. It's a big mess of complicated emotions for me, but I'm in therapy now and I feel I'm much better now than even a year ago. Well, there are consequences, so caution should be the norm. Very few of my recreational activities are likely in resulting in me being 100% responsible for another human being. If that were the case, it would tend to take the fun out of a lot of it. Hey, wanna join us in a level 5 Pokemon Go raid? No, I'm just not in a place where I can take care of a baby. I guess I just don't have a sufficiently flippant attitude toward pregnancy to act like a character on any of Shonda Rhimes' TV shows. So primarily it's a fear of being wrong. Like, growing up I had tons of people tell me that I was in a phase or confused or lying to myself, and it took me all of the last 5 years to even start to feel comfortable and confident. But what if I don't like it? Yeah, it'll only be once with one guy, but it'll become this microcosm for my entire identity. If I don't enjoy it, maybe I was wrong, maybe I've been lying to myself. I used to think I would faster, that maybe I wasn't big enough or whatever. But as soon as I lost my virginity, all those thoughts and insecurities went away. When I turned 18, I basically became addicted to, not even the part, but I realized I was using the fact that people wanted to have with me to boost my ego. I felt good because people wanted me. Cue to me now at 23, and I only just realized this year, so I have not had in 2020. I'm scared once I have with someone, I'll remember how addicting the attention is, and I'll lose myself again. Small pp. There's a very distinct possibility that I will have to kill myself, and having any kind of intimacy might make things more complicated than they have to be. I'd rather not cause a fuss when the time comes. I really hope that doesn't happen. Wishing the best for you.